need to stop shaming all these marijuana smokers because they just might be onto something. You know, you were talking about ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. What about weed? Well, researchers have discovered that potentially certain cannabis compounds could prevent COVID-19 from infecting human cells. Crazy. Now listen, before you get all happy and go down to the corner and find your nearest drug dealer, wait a second, because there's a couple of caveats here. So a team of researchers, they did a range of botanicals. They did a test on a range of botanicals that were used as supplements. And they included the red clover, wild yam, and 3 species of licorice as possible protections against COVID, but cannabis was the clear winner here. So let's go into this from Bloomberg. The 2 compounds commonly found in hemp called CBGA and CBDA, we're gonna have a lot of letters here, you guys. They were identified during a chemical screening effort as having potential to combat the coronavirus. This is what researchers from Oregon State University said. In the study, they bound to spike proteins found on the virus and blocked a step the pathogen uses to infect people. Now, I remember when I was looking into the vaccine, there was a part of the vaccine is it blocks spike proteins that carry COVID-19 to your cells. So that's where this is beginning here. So, but it does have a limited effect because it's just not the same. So also researchers tested the compound's effect against alpha and beta variants of the virus in a laboratory. The study didn't involve giving the supplements to people or comparing the infection rates in those who use the compounds to those who don't. So hemp extract is commonly found in like cosmetics and things like that. It's pretty much everywhere. But in this particular case, if particularly cannabis, marijuana, this would have been a little bit different. So here's what the lead author of the study went on to say. These compounds can be taken orally and have a long history of safe use in humans. They have the potential to prevent as well as treat infection of SARS-CoV-2. CBDA and CBGA are produced by the hemp plant as precursors to CBD and CBG. Okay, this is where all the acronyms are gonna start giving you guys some problems, but I'll point out in a second. And CBD and CBG, which are familiar to many consumers. However, they're different from the acids that are not contained in hemp products. So, and this is where you guys, everyone who's like a chemist when it comes to cannabis and marijuana, you'll know what I'm talking about here. In cannabis biochemistry, acids are the biosynthetic precursors to the cannabinoids that activate receptors in humans, which is what it is when people get high. This means, in simple terms, the cannabis compounds studied in this research are not the cannabis compounds that most weed users seek when they go to the dispensary. So it has some similarities, but it's just not the same. And especially since the fact, and I'm gonna quickly truncate this down, when people smoke it, say in a joint form, it burns, and in the burning, interrupts exactly the way that these things should work. So it's maybe a little bit more useful in like edibles and things like that, but even that is not the same level. So potheads have united, and then they kind of forgot what they were uniting about because they just chilled out and had some food. What do you guys think? Is this something that could eventually be expanded? Because that's what I was thinking. Whenever it comes to scientific things and people are discovering it, maybe it starts with an indication, but then we see where it goes from there.
You know, it's what, like the Declaration of Independence that's on hemp paper, and the fact that, you know, this helps restore our muscles and helps things in terms of us calming down. And I really think there are so many great medicinal benefits to cannabis. And so to find out that there's some benefit here is amazing. It's unfortunate that it sounds like we can't really get the benefits if they actually come true and get high at the same time. And so that makes me sad. But also the fact is that we have a president who probably has Stop Reefer Madness tattooed somewhere on his body. And so I doubt that this will ever go very far.
Where do you think it's tattooed? I'm sorry, no, we don't.
God.
Well, I mean, I've got a good solution to the problem, Adrian, you just brought up, is you can just have your pipe right next to this, and then you can get both the benefits of stopping COVID, potentially helping prevent infections, and then also just get high immediately before or after. So I feel like that's fine. That's probably what I would do. That's the strategy I feel like taking. And it is hard. I mean, it's especially hard when to really know what to make of it when the lingo gets very scientific. But I think if I can just recap it as best as I can, the CBGA and the CBDA can be combined to help people. And if you go to CBG, you can get fine women's clothing. I think, is that right?
Well,
yes, and the DEA will come get you. It all works out very well.
But then after the DEA, you have to drop the A. There's the DE. I don't know. I've always been confused by all the acronyms and terms. I asked a million times over and over again. I was like, okay, so CBD and CBG, and then the ABD. I don't know, but I'm glad there's people that do, and they did a bit of a research on this to find out exactly how this works. And again, this is one of those things that as soon as it's brought up, there's I'm sure still a significant percentage of people that go, well, not weed. I mean, I'm gonna take my 4 to 5 pills that were given to me by my doctor and then prescribed by the pharmacist, which fine if you need it. I'm not dogging out if you need medication, but there's something about this one that if they're developing something that we go, oh, well, people enjoy that recreationally, so that means we can't even look into it or discover some of the benefits, and I just don't understand that. And as we know, the beginnings of this whole laws that are against this were definitely not based in this being more dangerous than anything else. But that's where we stand. That's where we are as a country.
Yeah, they definitely are based in racism, and I will go ahead and put that on the record. But also, too, the fact is that we have a society that is full of functional alcoholics, and yet our society is completely okay with continuing to give these toxins and poisons to people and to sell them over the counter at all times, and will not look at cannabis as being something that can truly change us all. So I take issue with it as well.
Yeah, that definitely is a very accurate statement, and there's no argument that can be made for why you can have a country that embraces alcohol so seriously. I mean, we have 2 amendments still on the books. Granted, one cancels the other. The first one saying you can't drink, and the second one's like, never mind, let's get messed up. But you can't, it's this pariah for a drug that's much milder, activates creativity, compassion, interest in others, empathy, and then also can help tackle a host of diseases. For that to not be something that obviously we can consider for its benefits and should dive into. And like you said, the Declaration of Independence is written on hemp. So maybe it was time we I don't know, take a little bit of a different look at things.
I was gonna say roll it up and smoke it, because
that's an idea.
I mean,
that's an idea. I like that.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.